Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my favorites for the Sephora VIB sale. I'm going to do this very quick style, which is a little bit different from me. Usually I'm very in-depth. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm so sorry it has been a while. I have moved, if you guys didn't know, so I'm currently in a different location, and things have just been very busy, a little bit chaotic. This is not going to be the permanent background, but this is just what I'm working with right now until things get a little bit more sorted and finalized. So I apologize again for the background currently, and it will change. But let's just get into the Sephora VIB favorite recommendations. The sale has already started for VIB Rouge members. Again, I apologize for the delay in this video. I know some of you still wanted to see this video, even though I am a little bit late. Let's get started with complexion favorites. I don't have any primer favorites to mention. And again, I am going to be running through these more quick style. And let's just go on to foundation. So I have two foundations to mention. I am going to be applying these because I have not applied any makeup today. One foundation that I am absolutely loving is this Makeup by Mario. This is the SurrealSkin Natural Finish Foundation. I have mine in the shade 4.5N, which is a really good match for like a self-tan. Probably not when I'm like freshly fake tanned. It is like slightly too light, but it works at like day 3 self-tan when things are kind of fading away. I like to just go in with this Rephr brush, and I don't even have a mirror, so I'm just going to use the viewfinder. But this foundation is absolutely beautiful. It is one of my top favorite foundations, and not just a new release. You guys know I am all about having a curated collection, and this foundation is just beautiful, and it is in my top 5 foundations of all time. Not, again, just a new foundation. This has become a go-to beautiful favorite. I say that because this finish on this foundation is really, really beautiful, especially if you're someone with normal, dry, mature skin. I think you will love this foundation. It is a natural finish, and it is very much a natural finish. I would describe it as a skin-like finish. It has a very, I wouldn't think it's too mattifying or it's not too dewy. It's kind of that perfect in between, that perfect Goldilocks foundation where it's not a satin, but it's also not a matte finish. It's that perfect velvet, more velvet skin finish. But I do think you would love it if you have a drier skin type, because I have very dry skin and it is just the perfect finish for me. It doesn't lean, like I said, too matte or too glowy, and it lasts all day long on the skin. And it's also so lightweight for a foundation that is more on the natural finish. I find sometimes those foundations can feel a little bit heavy on the skin. This feels like nothing on the skin. It feels weightless. It is so blurring on the complexion. You guys know how much I love a blurring product, and this is so blurring on the skin. If you have skin texture or anything like that, this would be a great foundation. And it also has a really decent amount of coverage. I would say that this is a true medium coverage foundation. And what I like about having a medium coverage foundation is that it is very buildable. So you can build it from a medium coverage. You could get something a little bit more full coverage. I wouldn't say it is a completely full coverage foundation though, but you could build it to almost full coverage. But the really great thing about those types of foundations is that you can also really sheer them out on the skin as well. So you can get more of a skin tint if you just go in with like half a pump of foundation, really thin it out on the skin, have your skincare laid underneath. Don't let your skincare sink in for as long as you normally would. Normally I'd let my skincare settle for like 20 minutes before applying foundation. If I wanted a more sheer coverage, I'd just let my skincare sit for about 5 to 10 minutes and then go in with a very, very thin layer. But I really like recommending these types of foundations the most, just because you can get such a variety of different wears out of this foundation. You could wear it for a more glam occasion, but you could also wear it for running errands when you thin it out on the skin. So I just really like that adaptability with this foundation. And again, it's just such a good finish, and I feel like I could recommend this for all different skin types just because of that finish and how it sits on the skin, how it looks on the skin. It is truly beautiful. This is what I want a lot of luxury foundations to do. Like, remember, so sophisticated and beautiful on the skin. It does not look makeup-y, even though it has a bit more coverage. It's absolutely gorgeous. It looks like a luxury foundation on the skin, but it doesn't have as luxury of a price point as, say, like my Chanel Sublimage L'Essence Détente. This definitely has a more affordability price point to it. So quickly wanted to recommend a second place foundation just in case you are like very dry skin or you just didn't want to pick up the Makeup by Mario for whatever reason. I forgot to mention I also have the Makeup by Mario in the shade 0.5N. I decided to pick it up in 2 shades. That's how much I love it. Just for when I don't have a self-tan on at all and I'm my natural skin color, 0.5 is a really good match for me. It's like a hair too dark, but it's pretty good. So if you're very, very fair, I would recommend that. And I love it. This Dior stick foundation is another recommendation. Again, I wanted to recommend this because you can wear it in a variety of different ways. You can really sheer it out on the skin, but you can really build it up on the skin as well and get more coverage. This is definitely more on the glowy side. It has more of a satin finish. It does dry down, so I don't think you necessarily need to set it with powder unless you have very oily skin. I'm not sure how much you would love this, but this is just a very great foundation. And again, I really love this, especially for travel. This is what I took when I went to Mexico, when I went to Hawaii, because I just wanted to take a check-in bag, and this isn't a liquid, obviously. I have used quite a bit of it. I wear the shade 2.5N, and it is a pretty good match for me with a self-tan. And I just really like this foundation. It lasts all day long, even though it is more of that satin finish foundation. It just wears very consistently. It doesn't get glowier or greasier throughout the day. And it is a blurring foundation, even though it has that more satin finish to it. So I just really like this. It's another very lightweight foundation. So these are very similar in their coverage level, in their longevity, how they last on the skin, in their blurring level. The Makeup by Mario is just going to give you, honestly, their coverage levels are very, very similar as well. The Makeup by Mario is just a bit more of a natural finish, skin finish, where the Dior is more glowy satin finish. Those are kind of the main differences, but they're both very beautiful. I want to talk about a few concealers. I love this Givenchy. This is the Prism Libre Skin Caring Concealer. I have the shade N250, which matches my self-tan. I am picking up the shade I think it's 280 during the sale because it is going to suit my fair skin better. And I wanted a concealer for when I have my natural fair skin. This is just a beautiful, this is a satin finish concealer. It is going to give you a medium coverage. It's so lovely on drier or mature skin. It's just a very flattering concealer. It doesn't crease, it doesn't fade. I love it as a foundation replacement. That's probably one of my favorite ways to use this, is that I will use this all over the skin as a foundation, especially when I'm in a rush. Like on days when I'm going to the gym, I love to just apply this concealer. It's so, so good, but it also works under the eyes as well. I think I just prefer it as almost a foundation replacement. I've gone through about 4 of these. I love it. This is a new one to me, and I'm so sorry if you're Canadian because this is not available on the Canadian Sephora site, but this is the Natasha Denona Glam Concealer, and I have the shade number N.0.5. This suits my very, very fair skin when I don't have any self-tan on. I think it's the lightest shade, and it actually is light enough for my very fair skin, which so many concealers fail in that department. So I'm so glad to have a concealer that actually matches my super fair skin. I really like this, and I'm very surprised because this is not typically a concealer that I would like. And I say that because it is a little bit more full coverage, and it is a bit more mattifying as well. It's basically the opposite of the Givenchy concealer, where that's more of a satin finish. This is definitely more mattifying. It only has a ton of coverage. I would classify this concealer as full coverage, basically. So again, I would just use this Givenchy on any places where I might have a blemish or something, or any discoloration, and under the eyes. And I'm going to go in with a bit of the Natasha Denona just to brighten, but it's a little bit too light while I have a self-tan on to use under my eyes completely. But I think I will pick this up in a shade that matches my self-tan because I actually really do like it. And I like this on the face as well. So you can use it as a spot concealer or all over the face. You don't necessarily have to just use it under the eyes. It works really well. It just blends really easily. Once it sets under the eyes, it is going to stay all day long. It doesn't crease. And even though it is more of that mattifying concealer, I don't find it too drying, and I have very, very dry under eyes. I think maybe if you had super mature skin, you might find it a little drying. Let me know down in the comment section, but I'd be very curious to hear your thoughts. I know so many of you recommended this concealer to me and wanted me to try it out, and I have, and I actually really do like it. And thank you for the recommendation, by the way. So this has been a really nice concealer. This is what I wanted the Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer to be, because that one was just a little bit too mattifying, too drying on my under eyes. I looked like the Crypt Keeper. That's how dry it was. I just looked like I aged 20 years, which you don't want in a concealer. So the Estee Lauder one did not work for me, but I feel like the Natasha Denona one is really good if you are someone that just prefers no light reflection under the eyes and you prefer something matte and very full coverage. Like, you literally need a dot of that product and a little bit goes a super long way. You can really blend it out. I would just be careful not to use too much because it can look makeup-y on the skin if you go in with too much product. But if you just use that tiny, tiny little bit of product, it looks beautiful and it wears beautifully as well. 2 bronzing products I want to recommend. The first is the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer. I have the shade Light Medium, and honestly, Light Medium just works as a more intense bronzer when I have my very fair skin. I want to pick up the shade Light for when I have my naturally pale skin because it is so hard to find a bronzer that works when you have the fairest of fair skin tones. A lot of things, it just looks kind of phony on very fair skin because you don't really have any bronze to your skin. So just giving that little bit of dimension, but that looks so natural, is really beautiful in a product like this. But however, with a self-tan on, this product just works as exactly what it's called, a skin enhancer. It enhances the skin without it looking like you're wearing an obvious bronzer. There are no harsh lines. It is not like an ultra high dimension look, high contrast look. You just get a little bit of sculpting. It just brings life back to your face because a lot of times with foundation, it just takes the life out of your skin. It just makes you look a little bit dull. You need a little bit more color back to your skin. And that's what the skin enhancer is for. It's when you need that color back to your skin without it looking like obvious makeup. And I love a product for just on an everyday basis. Again, when I'm going to the gym, when I don't want it to look like I'm wearing makeup, this is the most no makeup bronzer that you will find. It is so sheer, and I really like that because it's a very translucent bronzer. So it's just going to give you a little bit of that tint, a little bit of that color back, a tiny bit of sculpting, but it is so natural on the skin. This is truly a gorgeous, beautiful product, and I love it. I think it's just something that can't be replaced in my collection, and it is absolutely lovely. I know so many of you who are like only luxury beauty buyers have bought this product and you've said how much of a game changer it is. So please just try it. It is so gorgeous if you just want that really subtle sculpt. Another product I love is this YSL All Hours Hyper Bronze in the shade 02. 02 is just the best shade for my self-tan. 01 would probably be a really great bronzer for my very, very fair skin tone because I have heard that the shade 1 runs very light. But I just love this bronzer because it is a matte bronzer, but it doesn't dry out your skin. I feel like I don't gravitate towards matte bronzers because I just feel like they look really drying on the skin. They can kind of look crepey and just not that flattering. So it's really nice to have a bronzer that looks blurring on the skin, that gives you that subtle definition, again, without it being a high contrast bronzer, without you being like, oh, whoa, that person's wearing a bronzer. This is just a very, I would say it's a softly pigmented bronzer. Like, you're gonna have to really build it up on the skin if you want a lot of pigmentation out of it. But I would rather have a very buildable bronzer where I have to go in with a lot of layers to get a very noticeably bronzed look. It's just gonna look a little bit more natural on the skin when it's more buildable. And it's just a very skin-like bronzer, even though it is more mattifying, even though it's a powder product, there is still a beautiful skin-like quality to it. And I really like that there is no shimmer in it, especially for the fall and winter. I tend to definitely not want to use shimmer in my products, and I really like this velvety finish. It's just so beautiful. So if you're looking for a really nice matte bronzer, I would recommend this, and I love to use this on my eyes as well. This is a bronzer that works really nice because a lot of bronzers pull orange or warm, and I want a neutral tone bronzer, and this is a very neutral tone bronze. So I absolutely love the undertones that they chose with this bronzer. I think it's really beautiful. This comes in a variety of different shades, I believe 5 different shades. So just shade 2 matches me the best. Obviously, completely different products. This is a cream product. I would say this is a cream. It is very glowy, but it does subtly set on the skin. You could go in with a powder product to completely set it, but it is more of an emollient formula, and it's not going to set down to a completely powder finish, but it's just such a gorgeous product. I can't recommend it enough. I really quickly wanted to mention the Westman Atelier Duos. I'm gonna do this so fast because I do have to kind of hurry. but I love this powder duo, especially for sculpting. This biscuit shade is so gorgeous. It's the perfect cool tone. So I like to just add a little bit of sculpting like under the lip to make my lips look a little bit more pouty, and sometimes around the nose. If I don't want to go in with like a cream contour, I just want to add a little bit more definition to my face. I like to just sculpt the eyes a little bit. And this formula is really beautiful because it's a very buildable formula. It's very sheerly pigmented, so it doesn't show up very high contrast again. You really need to build it on the skin. And the formula is just so blurring as well. Like if you're looking for a blurring blush and bronzer combo, you're gonna love this formulation from Westland Atelier. There are no intermittent shimmer particles. There is no sheen to this. It is just completely matte. It's a gorgeous formulation. But I want to talk about a different blush because some of my favorite powder blushes are at Sephora. I have to mention the Valentino blushes. This has just been a favorite for so long. I would recommend the shade 2 and 9. Number 2 is just probably my favorite though. It looks like this very vibrant punch of color, but if you just go in with a little bit of product, this is phenomenal. This is a powder to cream formula. So you get the ease of application of a powder, but it melts into your skin like a cream product would. It's gorgeous. Sorry, not available in Canada. Unfortunately, they discontinued them. We can't get them anywhere in Canada, but you can get these YSL. These are the Make Me blushes. I have the shade number 06, which is Rose Haze, and the shade 23, which is Hot Mauve, something to that effect. I forget the exact shade name, but I did decide to pick up the Mauve shade. Originally, I was saying, you don't need to get this shade. I already have a lot of shades. I can kind of create my own Mauve shade, but I just really wanted this. And so I did pick it up. This is the only product I've picked up so far during the sale, just because I live in Victoria and our Sephora is very small. So we don't have, I would just rather do my online shopping at the Sephora online store because we have way more options. Our Sephora is very, very tiny, but I love this formulation because this is, again, a powder blush that is very blurring on the skin. I love blurring products on the skin, and it has a really great amount of pigmentation where, again, it's pigmented, but it's not too pigmented where it gets away from you. This powder formula is silky smooth. It is buttery. It blends like a dream. It is a matte finish. So again, there are no intermittent shimmer particles. You're not going to see a sheen on your skin. You are not going to see any glitter particles at all. And I really do love this mauve shade. I am someone where I think because of my self-tan, things tend to go orange on me. And this is just cool enough where it does not appear orange on my skin. I think I just went in with a tiny bit too much blush, but that's okay. I just love this formula. It is really, really beautiful for a powder formula. Very blendable, very gorgeous. Again, blurring powder blush formula. I do not recommend the shimmer or the shades with a sheen. I do not think they're very flattering on the skin because they are just so shimmery. They're the type of sheen where you can see the shimmer particles sitting on your skin, especially in direct sunlight. So I don't love them as much. Okay, I actually normally go in with highlighter before powder blush, so I totally skipped a step. I got too excited about the blushes, but for highlighter, I recommend the Prada Light Glowing Powder. This is really beautiful if you want the most subtle natural highlighter. If you're someone that likes a cream highlighter, but sometimes you find them a little bit finicky, your hair gets stuck in them, this will give you a cream highlighter appearance, but it's going to give you that ease of application of a powder. It is a very, very silky smooth formula, and if you can see, just the sheen is very, very subtle. It gives you that glow from within. And the other highlighter I recommend is the Dior Forever Glow Luminizer in the shade 02 Gold Halo, which is actually more of a nude champagne shade. It's not gold. I think they messed up the names. But this one, if you can see, has a bit more of a sheen. So the Dior is going to give you that glossy highlighter look, where the Prada is just going to give you the most no makeup type of highlighter look. So honestly, I love having both in my collection because they are different. The Dior I will wear for special occasions, or if I want my skin to just look really glossy and I want to show off that sheen and I want, I don't know, just more of a highlighter vibe. But the Prada is good, again, for the gym, or if I'm just running errands, or if I just want that no makeup vibe. If I don't want my skin to look super glowy, maybe it's a really hot day and I don't want to look too greasy, I will choose that Prada, but I'm going to go in with the Dior today and just apply it to the high points of the skin. I like this BK Beauty brush. This is the N17. And again, this just gives you glossy cheeks. The more you buff it into your skin, the glossier it looks. And this looks like you've applied, kind of like I said, this looks like you've applied a cream highlighter to your skin, the Prada. The Dior looks like you've applied a liquid illuminator. So again, it melts into the skin. You can't detect powder sitting on the skin. And there are little intermittent shimmers, but they're so closely packed together that you can't see glitter particles sitting on the skin. But you just get that more, it's just a stronger sheen. It's just a glossier finish. So I absolutely love this product and it is beautiful. My mom also really loves this product as well. And my mom is 66. So I just think it works for a variety of different age ranges. I'm going to go over top with my blush brush because I typically like to do highlighter before I apply a blush. So this will just make everything blend a little bit smoother. For cream blushes, this Dior Forever Blush Soft Filter in the shade 07 Orchid is beautiful. If you're someone that likes a cream blush, but you don't like how emollient or dewy they are, your hair gets stuck into them, you maybe don't like that they highlight skin texture. This is a blurring blush, so it actually blurs the skin. It is really gorgeous. However, I don't recommend applying this over powder products. You need to apply it over liquids because it is very drying for a cream blush, but it is the most blurring cream blush I've ever tried. And then I also have this Merit Flush Balm. These are my favorite, hands down, cream blushes. Get the shade Archival for the fall and winter time. It is a beautiful cool tone mauve. It is stunning over powder. You want to apply these. You can either wear them as no makeup products and apply them over cream products or liquid products. Or my favorite way to apply these is apply them at the end of my makeup over top of all my powder products to finish off the makeup look, and it will just give the skin texture back to your skin. A lot of time when we apply powder products or makeup on the skin, things can just look powdery. They can look a little phony or fake. It just looks like we're wearing makeup, where this will bring your skin, your natural skin texture without makeup back. It just makes your skin look like skin again because of how emollient it is. But even though it's emollient, it doesn't look cakey when you apply it over top of powder. Such a great formula because that is kind of unheard of in the makeup world. Usually you cannot apply cream over powder, but this is just such a good formula. I am going to apply it, but I'm just going to go in with powder first. So I'm going to take this Dior Forever. This is the Nude Matte Filter in the shade 02 Light. This is going to be my powder recommendation for the Sephora sale because I think it's the best powder at Sephora. I really like the Givenchy press powder as well. That's really great for under the eyes. This is just my #1 pick. You know what? I just decided I'm going to pick up the Givenchy and set my under eyes. However, I dropped mine on the floor and it is completely broken. So I'm not going to be able to show you what it looks like, but I'm just going to set my under eyes lightly. These are just both really beautiful powders. They are undetectable. The Givenchy is especially undetectable because it's not going to add any color. So it's going to virtually look like you are just not wearing powder. And then I really like the Dior one because even though it has a little bit of color to it, it's not going to add a lot of coverage or color to your skin. It looks very natural. It looks very skin-like for a powder, but it is very blurring. If you just want to set your makeup down without it looking like you are wearing a powder, if you have dry, mature, even normal skin, this is going to work really beautifully for you. I really like this powder. Now let's go in with the Merit. So I like to apply the Merit Flush Balm just to the palm of my cheeks. I will go in with a brush, pick up that product, and then I will just apply it to my cheeks. So I like to apply it kind of high up. Again, I'm so sorry I'm using the viewfinder to apply these products, but it looks just so beautiful. Again, it brings the skin texture back. It just makes everything look more natural. I absolutely love this product. So good. I feel like I never talk about my brows, but I'm quickly just going to run this Kosas Air Brow through my brows. I really love this brow gel. It has like fibers in it, so it makes your brows look thicker and more defined. And my brows never feel like crispy or feel like too much. I do have, it's not microblading, it's called feathering. It's a more natural version of microblading. And I don't need to fill in my brows at all with pencil, so this is good enough for me. It is a game changer. I am not going to be applying eye products today because I just have to run a bunch of errands, and again, moving is very busy, so I'm going to keep the skin as is, and I'm just going to talk about my favorite eye products quickly. First, lip products. I'm just going to mention one lip product, and this is the YSL Candy Glaze. I meant to grab the clear shade, but this is the shade 15. Get the shade O2. It is my favorite, just clear shade, and it is so, it's like a thick, just viscous formula, so it hugs your lips and it gives you the ultra, it's the most comfortable lip product I've ever found, and it gives you ultra hydration. Like, it feels like you've had a lip mask off once it's worn off your lips. It is so, so lovely. I have purchased, I want to say 4 of them, and I would purchase my backup during the Sephora VIB sale. However, it is sold out in Canada, so hopefully it comes back into stock because I would love to repurchase that. And again, I did a complete declutter of my collection, and I actually don't have that many products from Sephora that survived that declutter. So I'm just going to mention my favorites, and they're all cream products. This is the Armani Eye Tint in the shade 25M. Gorgeous, long wearing, easy to blend, buildable, very forgiving on the eyes if you are someone that has dry eyes or mature eyes. It's really, really beautiful. I really like this color. This is the only color I've gotten to work for me. So many of them go gray or really sooty on my eyes, and this is one that actually adds enough warmth where I look alive and it brings color. These NARS Total Seduction eyeshadow sticks in the shimmer shades. The shade Hustle is the most beautiful bronze tone. It's the perfect neutral bronze, gold, taupe. So good. I always get compliments on my eyes when I wear this color. It is beautiful. And then the Bobbi Brown Longwear Cream Shadow Stick. This is the shade Cinnamon. It is such a gorgeous, just warm cinnamon brown. The perfect name is Cinnamon. This eye look together would look beautiful, but it's just this deep, warm brown. You can really sheer it out so that it looks a lot lighter and more natural, but you can also, again, build it up. So you can just see the warmth when I blend it out. I will show you the shade Hustle as well. Again, oh, that shade is so, so perfect. And then I will quickly show you the Armani shade as well. So that's just going to be a lighter warm brown in comparison to the cinnamon shade. But again, you can really sheer it out. This one sheers out a lot more than the Bobbi Brown cinnamon shade. And those are all my Sephora VIB sale recommendations. Again, I appreciate your patience. I'm so sorry for this quick video and that it wasn't fully complete and that my setup is not fully complete, but I hope you guys understand. Please, if you do use my link for the Sephora VIB sale, please let me know so I can personally thank you. I appreciate you all so much for using my links. It really does help my channel. It helps just everything. I can review more products, and let me know what you want to see from me. Again, appreciate you guys so much. It has been a little stressful moving, so I appreciate your patience during this time. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and I will see you in my next video.